what's up? What are you doing tonight?
Oh, hey, not much. Just enjoying my orange mocha cappuccino.
Just out taking my Harley out for a ride. Wanted to stop and take a break, so I came in here to grab a drink. You got a motorcycle?
Oh, yeah. I have an awesome bike. I have a 1982 Ducati that's fully restored, and I customized it to run on veggie oil.
I asked if you had a motorcycle, not some snowflake safe space on wheels. Good grief.
Yeah, well, I bet your stupid Harley is like obnoxiously loud and wakes up the whole neighborhood when you go riding.
Yeah, my bike's loud. Sounds like the sweet thunder of God's chariot coming down the road, and I'll love it, so I don't care.
What a typical boomer. All you care about is yourself. You're so selfish.
You don't know me, man. I think about more than just myself. I think about my bike, my family, and my country.
You are a very offensive person.
Oh yeah, you want to be offended by something? I hope you and all your little snowflake friends die in a freak gasoline fight accident. How's that for offensive? Why don't you go have fun crying yourself to sleep in your mama's basement?
This is ridiculous.
Sissy.
I'm leaving. I moved out of my mother's basement 2 weeks ago, by the way.
What's up, everybody? This is Evan, the main motorcycle addict, coming at you, and today we're going to be talking about differences within the motorcycle community. Hopefully I was able to edit that little intro that I shot and make it look not too bad. That might have been a little bit more of a generational gap than a rift within the motorcycle community, but I just wanted to kind of do something fun to highlight some of the differences within the motorcycling community. And the reason that I decided to do this video is because I was down at Big Moose Harley Davidson, and I was talking to one of the salesmen down there, OB, and we were actually talking about the Sportster S. And I said, you know, this is a really cool bike. It seems like they did a great job with it, and, you know, hopefully it'll do what they want it to do and bring in more younger riders and stuff like that. And he was like, yeah, you know, the younger people seem to be liking it and responding pretty well to it, but a lot of the more diehard, old school Harley guys are kind of, I'm not upset, but kind of like, well, what the heck's Harley doing building that? That's a piece of junk. Just, you know, keep building the same old thing that you've always built, you know. And it kind of struck me as a little bit odd. I don't know of any other industry product group quite like this, like the motorcycle industry is. You know, if you go to a Chevy guy who owns a Corvette or a Camaro, you know, ZL1 or something like that, he's not going to be upset that Chevy's building minivans or SUVs or a Duramax. And, you know, if you go to a Chrysler guy who has a 3500 Cummins dually, he's not going to be upset that they make Challengers and you know, Chargers and things like that. It's kind of weird, you know? It seems like everybody just expects, like car manufacturers, for example, just to stay on the same topic, to build products to suit all of their customers. It just makes sense, right? But for some reason in the motorcycle industry, it's like everybody wants Jap manufacturers to just make sport bikes. Stay out of cruisers. You don't belong in cruisers. They want Harley to just make cruisers and touring bikes, and that's it. Don't make anything else. You can't make anything new or interesting. You know what I mean? Just stick with the same old, same old. Not to say that Harley's lineup isn't interesting, but you know what I mean. It's just, it's weird to me, and I think it's something that everybody in the motorcycle community needs to try to do a better job of together, be a little more accepting, a little more understanding of each other. But before we talk about that anymore, I mentioned the genesis for this video came from talking to OB down at Big Moose Harley Davidson. And wouldn't you know it, they happen to be the sponsor of this video as well. So if you need any parts for your bike, if you need service and you live anywhere near Portland, why don't you go ahead down to Riverside Street in Portland and check out the guys at Big Moose Harley Davidson. You can also go to bigmooseharley.com and check out their website. I'll be putting a link in the description below that you can click on to get over to their website. And I mean, they have everything that you're going to need for your Harley. If you need a new bike, a used bike, parts, service, apparel, anything like that, they've got everything you need. So head down there and tell them that the main motorcycle addict sent you. So what can we do as the motorcycle community to try to be more understanding, more accepting of one another? One of the things that I did after having that conversation with OB is I went on YouTube, just like you are right now, and looked up a few different videos to get a couple different perspectives on what other people think about this. And I watched Yami Noob. He has a video on it. He calls it, I think it's something to do with like old school versus new school. Professional Monkey. He's a big Harley guy down in Florida. He has a video a little bit about this, not really. I watched several of his videos. He doesn't touch on this directly, but he definitely has kind of an old school versus new school mentality as well. And I feel like nobody is trying to understand things from the other person's point of view, right? Maybe you have a sport bike, maybe you have a cafe racer or something like that, and you just don't understand why somebody else wants a Street Glide or some sort of Harley with straight pipes, right? My question would be, what does it matter? Who cares what somebody else wants, right? The motorcycle community is a very small community, and the bigger we can get it, the better it's going to be for everybody. The better the bikes are going to be, the better the apparel is going to be, prices come down because of competition. You know, everything gets better if the community grows. So what do you care if somebody's riding a different bike than you? You know, just try to look at it from their perspective and pick up the things that are cool on that bike and think to yourself, you know, maybe I couldn't see myself riding that bike, but I do get, you know, why this is cool to you and why this appeals to you and you know, what you see in that bike. There's a lot of bikes that I personally would not buy myself, but that doesn't mean that they're dumb bikes or that they're, you know, useless or that you shouldn't buy them, right? When I went to the Motorcycle Safety Foundation course that I took to get my license here in Maine, they had me on a, I don't know, like 80s Honda Rebel 250, drum brakes front and rear, totally nutless, but I still had a blast on it. You know, I told the instructors that I've ridden motocross my whole life, and once they kind of found out that I was pretty familiar on the bike when we were doing the drills, they were focusing on, you know, some of the more beginner riders that didn't have as much time on a bike, and so I was kind of just tearing around the parking lot by myself, goofing off for like half the day, you know, and I was dragging pegs and just kind of going as hard as I could on the thing, which isn't very hard, admittedly. It's not a fast bike by any means, but it was still fun. I had fun on that goofy little Honda Rebel 250. You know, so just look at it from somebody else's perspective. Maybe they've got a Honda 250 because they took the MSF course on it and they liked it, and they've never ridden anything before, so they bought that because they knew they could handle it. And that's fine. Maybe somebody's got a fully customized bagger, you know, that's cool too. It's maybe not your style, but it's still a cool bike. Look at the custom paint. Look at the cool bags that they put on it. Look at the exhaust. Look at all the chrome, right? Again, it might not be your style, but it's still cool. So don't hate on somebody else's taste, somebody else's perspective, right? Let's just try to get out there, encourage one another, tell each other about cool rides that we've been on, different roads that we found, tell each other about great products that we find, different helmets that we're using, jackets that we're wearing, gloves that we're wearing, you know, anything. Let's just try to share whatever it is we find to be useful and try to grow the community. So yeah, that's pretty much my rant for tonight. Hopefully you guys can find some commonality with one another. You know, if you're a moto guy and you're not into street bikes, whatever, don't hate on street bikes. If you're a street bike guy, you got a buddy that's into dirt bikes, that's cool too. I'm into both. If you happen to be into both or just love all things motorcycle, then maybe you should consider subscribing to this channel, because that is what this channel is all about. And if you found my perspective on the differences between motorcycle groups interesting or helpful in any way, why don't you go ahead and give this video a like? That would be great. And if you like this type of a thing, me just giving my opinion, a little bit more of a vlog style, why don't you go ahead and tell me about it in the comments. It would be very helpful. Alright, I'll see you on the next video.